Okay, we are live. Greetings and salutations to all you. Gonna wait for just a minute to see if we get a few more viewers, and then I'll get started. Okay. Alrighty. Put my eyes up there. You guys hear me okay? All right, what we're gonna do today is prong set pendant. I don't have a lot of really nice large cabochons to set like this, but I thought I would give it a shot with what I've got. Hey, Rhonda. So, you know, I did a couple different styles. I'm going to turn the camera down. I had one of the stalactite slices that I bought in Tucson, but this one was cracked. So I kept it for myself, but it's got a pretty bad chip in it. So, but I set it anyway just to show you what it would look like. Hey, Marianne. Hi, Carol. All right, I'm going to turn the camera down here and show you the ones that I did. Now, I'm just a novice at this, but I bought a few of these things in Tucson, and I wanted to try doing a prong setting because I never have before. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Antoinette. So they're just very basic. I suppose that you could get fancier with them if you'd like, but this is all I got. So I thought I'd go with this. So what I did was I did it two different ways. I did it with a little piece on the back, and I'll show you both ways. And then I did it with just like a loop on the back that I soldered together. So there's just a couple of different choices. I chose to do silver today, so you will see how I do that. And I just love these drusies. I think they're so pretty. Hi, Paula. Hi, Tammy. Okay, so this is the stalactite slice that I was talking about. It had a pretty significant chip in here, but I went ahead and set it just for the heck of it, you know, just to show you what you can do. And I suppose you can get fancier with this. I just, like I said, this is my first stab at prong setting, so I think they're pretty good. And maybe you can take it a little bit further. I think a little embellishment in here would be nice, but I really am not certain how I would achieve that. So anyway, maybe you guys can come up with something a little bit different. Hi, Mary. Okay, so what I'm doing, I think I'll keep these around here just for reference. I'm going to be using 18 gauge sterling wire. You could use fine silver for this if you wanted to. I don't really see any problem with using the fine silver. I'm going to be using I think this is a medium size wrap and tap, and I'm using that to put the I'm making a ring for the back, you know, to do the cage for that. I'm using some purple turquoise, at least that's what I was told this is. I'm sure it's a composite of some sort. But these had holes in them on the sides, and I was thinking that maybe I could ball a small piece of wire and stick those in there, just if they show up, you know, with the cage. Marianne, I'm using soft. Cynthia, yeah, it's dyed. I'm sure that it's, you know, a synthetic thing, but I thought they were pretty, and gosh, I've had these probably for 10 years, so, or longer. So I thought I would take a stab at setting these. Thanks, Tammy. Yeah, I mean it's pretty straightforward what we're gonna do with this, and it's all in the setup really. So anyway, I'm using these. I think they're the medium size wrap and tap pliers, and I'm going to use some flush wire cutters. These are my favorites. The 5223 Tronics, love them. They're good for the higher gauge wires, so the thin ones. And I am, let's see here, I've got my soldering set up. Just really not that much to it, really. So what I'm going to do is, hey, Suni, we are doing a prong set pendant today. Hey, Deb. Okay, and I've got a lot of pictures on the handout of both ways, so that maybe if you can't see it real well here on the video, you'll be able to see that in the handout. Let's see here. I've got all the materials and things that you need written in the handout also, so that'll be helpful. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin with cutting some wire. I will do the, I'm going to do this one first, and then we'll do this one afterwards. All right, so I cut myself a small disc of silver. A lot of times you can get like pieces of scrap, like say on this sheet that I had, I was able to cut this little piece out of a space that I really wouldn't have much to be able to do much with. So I cut a little silver textured sheet just to give it a little bit more interest on the back. And I've got my 18 gauge wire. You can use 16 gauge too. I think it really just depends on the stone that you're setting. These two that I had done earlier, I did in 16 gauge. And then this morning I thought, well, why not try the 18 gauge? So that's what I'm going to try right now. So what I did is I'm cutting, this is my 18 gauge wire. You might want a pair of straightening pliers too, nylon jaw pliers, just to get things straight. And what I did was, for this particular stone, I'm cutting 2 inches, a 2-inch length. Oh, this is going to be like a slinky. I'm cutting a 2-inch length. Right here, and it's better to have a little extra wire than not enough. I will have some waste on this, but I'd rather have that than not enough. So I'm just going to cut another piece, 2 inches long, and then I'm going to snip off the little points. I'm going to flush cut those on the back and save all those little bits for your scrap jar, because they add up. And what I did was I just took my fingers and bent the wire like so. It doesn't have to be real precise, but close enough. Just made a U, a rather long U. And then I'll want to make sure that it's flat or straight, that it lays flat. So I have two little U's. Like I said, I cut my little disc, and I'll get right to the point here. Bring my soldering stuff in here. My grody board. And I'm going to use some titanium scrap little, what I call shims, to kind of elevate the wire a little bit. You'll see why I do that in a minute. And I'm going to line, I'm going to put the textured side of the disc down. Oh, I forgot to cut my longer piece of wire. The third piece of wire I'm cutting is going to be 3 inches long. And there again, it's probably overkill, but if I have little bits of scrap, I can make balls out of it, or put it in my scrap pile. It's not going to be a huge loss. Where's my ruler? So right about 3 inches. Cutters. All right. And there again, I want to cut that little point off flush on the one end. Then try to straighten out the wire as much as possible. Oh, here they are. Got it right in front of my face and I miss them. So what I'm basically doing before I solder, I'll show you this setup here. What I'm going to do is set my wires. I'm just putting my stone on here just to show you. I won't leave it on there while I'm soldering, of course. Now I'm going to put my wires, my curved wires, set up like this. Okay, so the stone is going to sit, after it's soldered, the stone is going to sit there, and then I'll be lifting these wires. And then this longer part here is going to be for the hanging hook or the bail or whatever you want to call it. All right, so that one's a little short. I had cut a couple extra ones earlier. So this is the orientation that it's going to need to be for soldering. And I just realized I didn't bring my fume extractor over here, so I'm going to get up and get that, because I'm going to be using solder paste, and I don't want that all going in my face. The solder paste will help hold all this stuff together, which is very helpful. So excuse me for one moment while I go get that. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Patty. Oh, okay. Talk amongst yourselves. It's not a demo from me if I don't forget something. All right. So I got that plugged in, but I also want to have a fan going to just help circulate the air and keep my smoke alarm from going off. So hang in there. All right. There we go. That way we can prevent any harmful fumes or problems. All right, so let's start this again. Get my fume extractor over here. That's going to make noise, so hopefully it won't interfere too much with that you can hear me. Solder paste, here we go. So I'm just going to put a little solder paste on my tray here. If I can keep this all together without knocking it all over the place, that would be great. A little bit of solder paste goes a long way, generally. That's probably too much, but we'll see what happens. We can always clean it up afterwards. Just line that up. And then we can move these prongs after they're set, or after they're soldered, I mean. Should be no problem at all. Okay. I don't really need flux because the solder paste has it in there. Alright, it's going to smoke a little bit, as it always does. Paste solder always does that. It spreads out a little bit too. And there we go. I'm just going to give it a tiny bit more to make sure that I've got all the areas. Hey, you! It's all stuck together. I'm going to quench it. All right. You see how simple and fast that was? So I'm going to put this in the pickle, but this is going to fit real nicely on here. Of course, I'm going to have to trim off quite a bit of this, but we'll work on that in just a few minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and put this in the pickle. Alright, that can have a nice little swim in there. In the meantime, we can work on the other. On this, I didn't say Suni, this is just easy solder right here. This is 65, easy solder for that pendant. For the next one, I am going to use some hard solder for the first joint. Alright, so I've got my hard solder here, and I'm going to make a little frame with some more 18 gauge wire and the medium sized wrap and tap. I'm going to use the largest end of the medium wrap and tap, and I'm only doing that because I'm basing it on the size pendant that I'm using. When I made this one, this was an oval and it was longer. And I could do an oval on this one too, but I just thought I'd try doing something smaller. So if you have a large jump ring, you could probably use that. But I'm just going to do this. All right. And slinky wires all over the floor now. All right. Get that out of the way. So I've got my ring, and I just want to close it tightly and manipulate it so that it's flush. And then we'll solder this closed with hard solder. I should have another pair of pliers. That makes it more better. Guess I didn't do a great cut on that one, but it'll work. All right. So for this one, I'm just going to use, oh, that moved out of place already. Maybe I'll use this other one because I did a better job on this. This one's cut a little bit better. So I'm putting that split where the two wires meet facing me. I'm going to spritz a little flux on there and grab myself a little piece of hard wire solder. Usually I put two up here in case I blow one of them off with the flame. Solder pick. Heat up the wire. Grab my solder. Oh, come on. Okay, got my solder on my pick. And then I'm just going to come right in here where the split is. And that soldered pretty well. It was a little bit more solder than I should have used probably. It's got a little tiny bulge on one side, but it'll be okay. So that's soldered. And let me stick this in the pickle for a minute. I'm using a pickle from the pool store. I don't know if it's pH down or what the name of it is. I think it's called by several different names. But it really works fast. It's really pretty awesome. Get some of that fire scale off, and then while that's sitting, we can cut, shut this off a minute. We can cut the wires for the second cage. And that, well, I guess I have that extra little piece of solder here. I can put that away before it falls on the floor. All right, don't need any more hard solder. We'll be using the easy solder next. All right, so then I want to cut my pieces for that, for the second cage. Well, I don't know if I should call it a cage, but, you know, for the second, I guess it is in a way. I'm going to cut 6 pieces of wire. This, you know, I'm not certain about the size, but I think since it's going to have, that's going to be in the center, so I don't need to cut them too terribly long, maybe 3/4 of an inch for 5 of them, and then the 6th one that'll have the bail on it, I'll probably make that 1.5 inches. I think that's what I'll go with for that. So let's try that. Each stone that you use, the measurement's going to be a little bit different depending on the size of the stone. I'll cut this little end off here. I don't like that. All right, so let's just say 3/4 of an inch. Oh, no. We'll see what happens. That's probably going to be plenty good. In a minute, I'll just check on the computer too and see if there's any comments or questions. I don't know if my computer's cooperating. Last week I had a lot of problems with them being in sync with my laptop and the phone. And it was a cause of frustration for me. I'm cutting off the little points as I cut off each little section of wire so that they're both flush ends. So it's kind of an experiment, as I do almost everything. Kind of just try it out and see how stuff works. Sometimes I get lucky and sometimes it's a big failure, but that's how I learn. I could have just measured these all out, but why be practical, right? Okay. So now I have flush ends on both sides, and then this last wire I wanted to be about 1.5 inches. Okay. We'll see how that works. All right, I'm going to lift the camera up for a moment and just make sure we're up to date. Hello there. Okay, good. All right. Yes, Patty, it is. It's all a learning experience. Okay. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Deb. This was the metal clay one I did a week or 2 ago with the powder dye, and I love it. Okay. All right, so put my glasses back on here. All right, let's see if that... All right. So this has still got a little bit of schmutz on it. Schmutz. I'm just going to steel wool this real quick. Just get it nice and clean. And then we'll solder on our little legs here. Okay, so I'm going to take the stone off of here so we don't mess that up. This board is pretty crappy. Make sure our wires are nice and straight. There's a little cleaner spot here. All right, I'm going to get some paste solder. I just usually squeeze a little bit right by where I'm working, like on the ceramic tile that I've got underneath here. If your wires are nice and flush, you shouldn't have any problem lining this up and having the wires touch. I suppose I should have probably put the stone on top of here first before I put the solder paste on, just to make sure that my alignment was going to be good, because I think this is going to be too close to the top. All right. Now let's hope the solder gods are with us. Warm everything up real nice. That's the only one I'm not certain. There we go. All right, let's see if it all lifts up. It's stuck to my board. There we go. Looky, looky. They're all on good. That's kind of cool. All right, I will take the other one out of the pickle. Let me get this out of my way here. All right. Put this one in. I've got this mason jar on a little cup warmer to heat up the pickle. Works pretty well. All right. Not bad at all. Now, at this point, if you wanted to, you could tumble this. At least I think at this point. It seems like you could do that. Or you could clean it up on with a rotary tool a little bit, just to knock off some little excess solder, if you have it, on here, which I think I will do that. It's not really, you don't really have to do this. I don't think. You could probably just clean it with some fine steel wool. That would probably be good enough. Just clean that up a little bit. Just give it a little shine there. Actually, I could do that just as easily. There's a little excess solder inside in the disc, but that's going to be covered up, so I am not going to be worrying about that. All right, so what I'm going to do is try this out. Oh, sorry. We'll raise this up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing a little better, hopefully. And put that on there. And what I did on the others was I marked them where I wanted to bend the wire, which is pretty close. I gave it just maybe, gosh, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so, where I'm going to put the pliers. And I think I need a new Sharpie. You could probably just eyeball it too. All right, so I've got real small little marks here where I'm just going to take my flat nose pliers and just bend. I'm going to put my flat nose plier right at the end of that mark and bend it straight up. I'm going to turn off this other fan here. There. Oh. Yeah, Patty, it does sound like a dentist drill for sure. Okay, let's see. Thank God we're not doing that. And then you're going to need to bend them over to see how much you need or how much you want to be left on there. Or I should say what it's going to take to hold this in. See how that grabs that nicely in the back? So I think what I'm going to do is snip off right about it's kind of a guesstimate. I think some people like the prongs to be a little bit longer. I would prefer them not to be, but that's just me. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is bend these up. Remove my stone, save all these little bits, and then I'm going to use a cup burr and round off these tips. If you don't know what a cup burr is, they are a little burr that has, it looks like a little cup. It's indented and it has little teeth inside that will grind the wire down and make it look more polished. No, I'm trying to keep it straight, Suni, not at an angle. All right, so now I'm going to put the ends of this wire in this little cup and kind of rotate around. There's different size cups for different size wires. This is a 1.6 that I'm using for 16 gauge or 18 gauge, 16 gauge or 18 gauge. And I think it's actually better for the 16 gauge, but I can use it for the 18 as well. And you just kind of go around and around with it. And it takes off those sharp edges and just gives it a smoother look. The wire gets a little bit warm. But it's best if you can get the right size cup, for the wires. This one fits, like I said, the 16 gauge perfectly. I have a larger one for heavier wire and then this size, but I need to get one a little bit smaller yet for the 18 gauge. You could probably even ball up these ends if you wanted to do that. I've seen where the wire's been balled and then smashed, which is kind of an interesting look. But that you can kind of play with. I think that would probably look better or work easier if you're using fine silver rather than sterling. So this is the point where I would tumble it if you wanted to get a real nice shine on it. This could withstand it just fine. All right, so let's put this stone in. And then I'm going to push these down with my fingers. And then I will use, I think I'll use the nylon pusher, the nylon pliers to push it down a little bit further. And then straighten it out. You want to make sure that you don't damage your stone when you're playing around with these wires too. But I think the back of this looks really pretty with that little piece on there. But you don't have to do that. You can do the same setup except not put that little disc in there if you didn't want to. And then for the top, yeah, see now this stone, like I said earlier, it's got holes on the sides, but later on I'm going to try to make a very small bald head pin and see if I can stick them in both of those ends. That might be kind of cool. And it might not, I don't know. So then this end, I'm just going to, I'm actually going to bend this over too a little bit. I'm going to bend that over a little bit. And then go up like that. And then I will take the round nose pliers and bring it all the way to the back. And I don't have my chain nose. Where's my chain nose? Okay. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and pull that up. Like that. Then it might need to be tweaked just a bit, just to straighten it up. So there you have it. And then we'll do the other one in just a minute. And you can fiddle with these a little bit if you want to. I would just be cautious not to, do too much so that you don't chip your stone or damage your stone in any way. All right, let's see here. Okay, let's get the other one out of the pickle. Like I was saying before, it seems like it should have maybe a little embellishment somewhere, maybe towards the top of the bail. I don't know if there's something that you could add, maybe a little dangly thing or even solder on a little thing without the stone there, of course. But it seems like maybe just with a nice decorative chain, it'll be pretty on its own. I don't know. Yeah, for the amethyst slices, that's exactly the same thing, basically, you know, as doing that little cage like that. But be careful when you're bending your wires not to chip any of those stones. This one actually was chipped when I bought it. I didn't even realize it till I was putting them out to sell them, and so that's not going to fly. So anyway, all right, let's get the other one out of the pickle. Rinsed off. I'll clean that up with some steel wool again. Got all my little bits here. These cup burrs usually come in a package of 6, but there may be some places that sell them individually. I don't know. But they're pretty handy. All right, let's see here. This one has a lot of excess solder on it. But I'd rather have that than be fussing with it if it doesn't have enough and you have to keep you know, making sure that you're attaching those wires. But you could knock off that solder with a abrasive brush, or not a brush, but a thing for your rotary tool. All right, so this is going to be for this one. And, you know, like I said earlier, you could make it a larger, I could have gone more rectangular with this centerpiece in there, or, you know, or not. But it's the same principle, it's just a different back, that's all. This, you'll see more of the stone that way. So we'll do the same thing, where I'm going to mark. Where's my shirt? Oh, here it is. Got buried. I just allow a little bit of space for me to turn with my pliers, turn the wire up. But it's no scientific calculation, because I don't go there, as you know. Okay. The little hand drill. Oh, Patty, that's a great idea, to solder a little something cute on there. That'd be cute too. Marianne, you're saying the little hand drill, what brand is that? You mean the cup burr? The cup burr, you can get these from Rio. You can get them also from other jewelry supply places, I think. Contenti.com, they have the cup burrs as well. So you might want to check them out, because there's different places charge differently, you know. Some are higher than others, so you might want to shop around a little bit. They're usually, like I said, in a 6-pack, but some places you can buy them individually. And the titanium sheet I got from Rio, and they only have 2 different sizes that I'm aware of at Rio, and it was maybe 22 and 26. I would get the thinnest. I would get 26. and then you can cut them up. They're generally in a strip that's usually like 1 inch wide and 6 inches long, and you can just chop them in pieces. But if you get the thinner ones, they're more versatile, because sometimes you just don't need that much thickness, holding something up. And if you need it a little bit more, you can just double up the shims. So, you mean the handpiece, Marianne? Oh, this is a micromotor from Eurotool. This is my new toy. And I had a smaller one that I sold. I was able to sell it, so I was happy with that. That one went 30,000 RPMs, and this one goes 45. And I like this a lot better because it has more power. So it's a neat little thing. Initially, I bought it to have something portable for when I teach classes away from home. However, with COVID, I haven't been teaching anywhere else lately. But I do like to keep that micromotor on my table here so that when I do these demos, I have that handy, because my flex shaft and the hanger and all that stuff is a little bit further down, and it would be a pain in the butt to be moving that stuff all the time. So I don't. This kind of just satisfies that need. All right, so I'm going to bend these up. That looks too big. Looks like you marked it too far away. So I would imagine you could do a variety of different stones with this method. And I primarily wanted to do this because I was selling some of these Druzy cabs after I got back from Tucson, and I thought, a lot of people bought these things, and I'm not sure if they know how to set them or not. So I thought it would be a good idea to provide some method of doing this. And I'm running out of demo ideas, so that's another reason. All right. And you want to make sure this is straight on the back, too, that it lines up. All right, so then I'm going to snip off these wires. Yeah, I don't think I could go any shorter than what I did here. But I'm really tempted. I'm really tempted about the balling. And if you want to bear with me, maybe I will try that on here and see if that's even doable or not. All right. Should we go for it? Should I try to... I'll have to pickle it again afterwards since it's sterling. But maybe I should trim these a little bit first and then try. What's the worst that could happen? Let's do it for shits and giggles. All right. Gotta wet my whistle there. All right, let's try it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Bring my soldering stuff back here. Ooh, I don't know. All right, so I need to hold on to this. Let's see. I'm going to move this up just a little bit because I don't want to burn my phone. Here goes nothing. Ooh, that one might have been too much. The problem with this is it's sterling, and the balls just don't come out as smooth as they would with fine silver. So keep that in mind, that would change things a bit. All right, let's see. Well, it made balls. Let me just pickle it real quick, and then I'll look for questions, comments, and then we'll put the stone back in and see if it was worth it or not. All right. I can always make a spider. You're right. All right. You know, Dawn, I'm wondering if a larger cup burr would help in the shaping when those balls are all puckery, as balls do get. Oh, okay. You know, maybe a cup burr would be helpful. I don't know. And yeah, you could flatten the balls. That's true, Rhonda. That's true. We might even try that. I don't know. All right. So while we're waiting for that to pickle, let's see here. I wanted to show off my new cup that Patty Dingstad made for me. She's such a sweetheart. This is a really nice tumbler. It is very similar, probably almost the same as the Yeti tumblers. And she has offered to make them for our group if anybody would be interested. She's got them in black, blue, and purple. This is actually purple. I don't know why it comes across as kind of a blue, or maybe a blue-purple on the screen, but it's really purple. But I'm sure the blue is very pretty as well as the black. I've seen the black too. So they're very nice. But anyway, I'll put a link on the group page if anybody's interested in one of these, and she'd be happy to make them for you. That's what she does. She does all kinds of very cool graphic things that I have absolutely no idea. But she's got a laser, and she showed it to me when we were in Tucson, and it was very cool. Oh, and she made me, I think I showed those too. Maybe I didn't. No, I think I did. She made me some custom templates that I had wanted. And I don't know if you can see those very well or not. with my fat head in the way. But I had asked her if she could do these hearts and also these large circles. This is a 5-inch, a 4-inch and a 5-inch circle. I wanted these specifically so when I do my copper dishes or my copper bowls, I could just trace this on a sheet of copper and cut it out. And I think they're going to come in very handy. Plus, she made me a bracelet. Here, the oval bracelet like that, and then a barrette size and some hearts. I'm going to experiment with the hearts because I was thinking what I have in my mind is, you know how I make the glass hearts, the lampwork hearts, and in different shapes. I was thinking if we had a template that was a little bit larger, maybe a 1/4 inch larger all the way around, that way you could make your base plate for your pendant or whatever, your piece, and then solder that on. You wouldn't have to draw it out. You could just have the shape already made. So I thought those were kind of cool. Yeah, Deb, she is. She's a very clever girl. So I may have her make me some other custom shapes, but I was thinking maybe you guys might want some of these too. So just let me know if you're interested. But I've got this thing in my head of doing some specific shapes and putting them all on a template. So I think that that would be cool. Knowing somebody who can do that for you custom is way cool. Way cool. Because I wouldn't even know who to go to for having something made like that. So, but I'll put a link for the cups if anybody, or tumblers if anybody's interested, and you can go from there. Oh, thank you, Sherry. Yeah, this was one of the little tack pins that I did in one of the demos a while back. So, okay, let's see how Spidey's doing here. Let me turn down here again. This stuff is amazing. This pickle. Yeah, you could actually have kind of fun doing caging things like that to make some cool designs. All right, let's see if I can clean this up relatively easily. Where's my steel wool? Nothing is farther of a foot farther from me, and I can't find it. Maybe it fell on the floor. Well, my Pro Polish pad did. And my silver's on the floor. And I have some Doritos on the floor. We could have a party. Oh, it's behind the water bowl. That's why I didn't see it. All right. There again, like I said, I would probably tumble this at this point and get it nice and shiny. But for the demo purpose, you know, I think this is fine. All right, the moment of truth. Yeah, these are a little short. If I would not have cut so much off in the beginning, there would be more to grab with. But actually, I like this. I think it's enough to stay on. How cute is that? That looks way nicer. That looks way nicer than this. Especially if I put those little bald head pins in those holes. Squee! It might be a tad small. They should probably just be a little bit longer, just for security. I don't think I can bend them any more than that. Yeah, I think that that is the way to go. Or a way to go, I should say. All right, let's just put the little loop on here. And then we shall be done. All right, so I'm going to bend this forward a bit, but you don't have to do that. I just kind of think that that's just another protection for this to stay in better. Or not, I don't know. Okay. I could have cut that wire down just a little bit. It could have been more, could have been closer to the stone. But that's a design choice. You know, that's really up to you how you want to do that. But that would be cute. That'd be cute hanging there. Yep. Okay, so that's it, guys, as far as doing the prong set. That's all I know about it. You know, there may be other things that you could do, but I think these two choices are pretty good. I may take these out of their cage and still tumble them. As long as you aren't working the wire too much back and forth, you know, you won't have any trouble of breaking or possibility of the wires breaking off. But yeah, I'd like a little bit more shine on them than this. Okay. Yeah, I think the bald ends really make a nicer look. I do. Okay, so I will be posting the handout in just a minute in the group. I always say just a minute, but it's usually a little bit longer. Yeah, Marianne, these were so quick and easy. You know, it's just, you just get all your stuff set up ahead of time and you're ready to roll. And it's probably great for those pieces that are odd shapes and stuff like that too. So gives you another choice of how to set it without doing a great big big bezel. So so next week I'm going to do these little 3 wrap bracelets. Well, I'm going to do one of them, but I mean that's what I'm going to do. I've had this kind of on the back burner for a while, and I'm going to do that. And then after that, I'm going to do some projects by Kim St. Jean. I spoke to her when we were in Tucson a few weeks back, and I asked her if she would mind if I did some of her projects from her books, and she said go for it. So I think that's what we're going to do. There's a few projects that I really love that I think you'll like them as well. And so we're going to work through some of her stuff. And there again, if you have more ideas for things that I can do, to demo for you, I'd be happy to hear what you've got, because I've been doing a lot of these, and it's like you run out of ideas after a while. So just put any suggestions down there, and if it's stuff I could do, I will definitely do them for you. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the group. There again, I'm going to put the handout out. I'll put a link for the tumblers if you're interested. And anything else I forgot about? Who knows? So thanks for watching with me, guys. I always appreciate when you are with me and help me through it all. So take care, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.